guys, welcome back to Clockwork Noodles for another breakdown of Sugar Apple Fairy Tale episode number 5. I am so much better at saying that title now. Welcome back to the channel, guys. We have now got 1 week before I bring you my midway review. Make sure you guys are subscribed. We are on target to hit 666. We're doing very well. We're about 15 under. If you are the 666th noodle, let me know. Forever, you're going to be the cursed noodle. Curse doesn't have to mean bad, guys. Curse can also mean good. You can be a good curse. Thank you for tuning in again. This week was very different, and I can't wait to break it down with you guys. Thank you guys so much for your continued support all the way through the past 5 episodes. You guys have been the winning video each week. Most amount of views and most amount of love. So much thanks to you guys. I like this anime. This anime is fun. It's also nice to break something down that isn't about slavery, isn't about trauma. It's different from the rest of the season, and I think I really do appreciate having something light to go to, and this is definitely that anime for me because I'm having a very heavy month work. I don't want to think about trauma or heavy animes, and sometimes heavy animes really do get to me because it'll make you feel rubbish. This anime is making me feel good. Let's get straight to episode number 5, starting with the pain of shopping. In the shopping situation where she's enjoying her look around, I am definitely Shal. I find shopping really boring unless I need something specific, and that's generally fabric shopping. If I'm making a cosplay and I want to get the fabrics right, I love fabric shopping, but I just don't like shopping. Most of the time I just buy things online that I think I want. I'm one of those people as well, I'm so awkward that if it comes through not right, I won't replace it because I don't want to go through the whole returns process. I think we can all learn something from the fact that the place we need to be is the place which isn't dressed up. The best person she's actually looking for is the one in a building that isn't really overdressed. It's not got a massive sign. I like that because often enough the person who can create the best art is so focused on their artwork, they're not focusing on how they're promoting it and how their shop looks like as opposed to the art. Fun how she ends up in the place that she really wants to be and meet this guy. Even not knowing his real name I think actually helped her in the long run. I'll call him by his nickname till the end anyway. Meeting Cat was very important, and not knowing his name because she treats him as a normal person. Don't meet your celebrities, don't meet your heroes, because they are just normal people at the end of the day, and sometimes you can be let down by that, sometimes you can be impressed and you love them, but often enough if she had known that was Alf from the start, she would have acted differently around him. The new face is Cat. He is in OPED, and oddly enough with his body posture he was facing away from the centre like Jonas, so I figured that he'd be bad, but actually it's more he's just the character who sharp around the edges, but he's a very nice character. Ironic that I actually saw some of Hugh in him. They actually did train together because it's a nice touch that the anime is taking into consideration that if you study with people you're going to hold some similar beliefs, and I think it's that similar belief at the end which I was very impressed with. There was a similar theme between the way Alf worked and the way that Hugh works. At some point I do think we're going to see Hugh again, and he hasn't had his episode yet. I think we need to focus in a bit on him at some point. I would not be surprised if the two are very similar. Wrongly accused bit, I had a feeling he did it on purpose and he knew that it wasn't her, but it's the way they played it off because they wanted to portray him as a not great character by enlisting her regardless of the fact that she said she didn't do it. She didn't have a culprit to hand, there was no real evidence. He might have recognised her from the sugar festival anyway. Probably had a gut-wrenching feeling that it wasn't her, but I think he was trying to teach her a lesson, which is very, very important for this week. There was the moment when she agrees to work for him and Shao looked quite pained, a little bit almost disappointed the fact that she was going to work for somebody for something she hadn't done. Whether this is because he saw it as a form of similar slavery, that I didn't do anything wrong but I am going to work because you think I've done something wrong. It was just a little moment where the two ended up lingering for a little bit. Let's talk about the way that Cat works and how he runs a business. It's very similar to a few artists I do know. They will only make things that they want to make. I make the art and then you buy it if you like it, or I will make it for the people I like. It's something that I'm very used to, and I've seen the arguments on both sides. You don't make very much. Not as much as you could, so you're not going to be earning to your full potential, so you won't be making bank or anything. But you will be happier. You will be making the things you want. You won't be skimping. You'll be putting your all into these works. Won't have to cut corners. It's a business model I'm used to because I am friends with a lot of different artists. If you can afford to be like this, or you can make it work, that you just pull through. Sometimes it's nicer to work like this. Kat is offering people work not based on how much they earn. This person here was very nice. I've seen how nice they were. I'm going to offer my services to you. I'll give you a price, but I will cut it down so it's affordable to you. Picking good people. And that's when I noticed he had a heart of gold. At this point, because initially I was like, he's a bit of a prick for not listening to her. But actually, he is a very good person. He's got a heart of gold and he's making it for people that he knows will appreciate it. When we find out that he's making this piece for a wedding, and she asks him, how much are you making? And it's barely anything. That's when I started to realize that it wasn't a monetary thing for him. His art and seeing how happy people were by his art was the most important thing. That is where he gets his gratification from. Some people are so happy in making things their way and seeing people appreciate their art. As I said a few episodes ago, artwork is your soul. You're basically putting yourself out on a plate for somebody to judge. Nothing more gratifying than somebody absolutely coming to tears by your work who wouldn't have been able to afford it otherwise. They appreciate your work for what it is and how you've not had to make any moderations for it. Xiao's response that he's a fool and most sugar artisans seem to be fools is actually a very common response to the artists who are like Kat. You're a fool for not making any money. You're underselling your work and you're not making as much as you could. You're only hurting yourself. I know people like this as well. My position is if you can afford to do it the first way, obviously if you're struggling, you may need to take corners. You may have to say, okay, I don't want to do this, but I can't make the rent, so I need this project. I need this commission. There may be times when you are forced to cut a corner. Now, I do prefer Anne with her hair down, but it is a testament to her character and about her heart, the fact that she does go above and beyond despite how cold it is, despite the hardships. Also a negative trait where you can put your work ahead of yourself despite your health. You should work very hard, but if your health is starting to suffer, you do need to take a little break, step back and ask yourself, how can I do this without hurting myself? That is where we see Xiao come along and say, you need to put yourself first. And he's angry at her for not getting sleep or not coming back. It's because he can see her doing damage to herself. The importance of the next sequence, even if it was my heart pounding little moment, it's all about understanding somebody who has a different view from you, which I think is very important. I think it might be one of the core morals, themes of this anime is differences and how you can approach a difference. Xiao doesn't understand what it is like to be cold. However, he sees that something is helping her. I will help you. Regardless of the fact that I don't understand, I can try and see things your way and I can try and make an adjustment to help you, which I think is really, really nice. Now, Anne wondering what it must feel like to touch something fluffy and have that sensation of warmth is also her trying to see something from a different point of view. How can I see things like Xiao sees it? Very nice little sequence, and I think the bottom line really is that they're trying to make efforts to help one another and see from the other's perspective. Very nice sequence, and it's a nice bridging of the gap because we're seeing Xiao now treating her very different from episode number 1. He's softer with her, he's more patient with her, he'll sit around and watch and make sure she's okay. I like this. I think it's a very nice relationship that's starting to bloom. Xiao and Kat, as much as they like to wind each other up, there are a lot of similarities with these two as well, and they both highlight the importance of self-care. Kat is upset because Anne hasn't eaten and has stayed up all night. You can see the bags under her eyes when he's like coming in and checking out her health. And I like the way that he does it because he goes forward and then he goes forward again and she's trying to do like a back thing here to keep out of his way. He's actually looking at her eyes and the fact they're tired. Hopefully the lesson that she's going to learn is that sometimes you have to put your health above your work, because imagine if she had burnt herself out and she'd broken that day's work because she was tired. So sometimes you have to take a night out because it will make you more progressive in the long run. You'll be working better the next day. So hopefully it's a lesson that Anne can actually take notes from. This definitely feels like an episode for Anne to just watch other people and take a nice quiet moment. We've had quite a jam-packed 4 episodes to open this anime with. Nice to have a quieter moment, take things at a bit of a slower pace, and also learn as an audience how these pieces come to be, how different people make. We're looking again at the sugar refining process. Would be interesting to see how similar it is to how real artisans do it, and I have a feeling it is similar because I remember the sheet thing and them crushing it up to make little bits. I seem to remember this. Let's talk about Kat again. He is a man of morals, and this is a similarity between him and Anne, and the way she treats her fairies, that she wants them to be friends, she doesn't want to own anybody. Kat doesn't want to work for bad people. He doesn't want to work for the high dollar. It's not important. As we've said, it's all about having the right people appreciate his work. He knows that these people are bad and they've treated fairies bad and they've treated their servants badly, and he doesn't like this. It's very nice as well to see Xiao pushing the door after she leaves. I like that. He's got the door. It's like, don't let the door hit you on the way out. And then she realises how hot he is, and she's like, I must have him. It's entitlement that we're seeing, and that very bad negative trait that I want it, therefore I can have it. These people don't understand the word no. I don't understand why I can't have this fairy. Shadow's a fairy, he must be mine. Well, no, he's a person. You're trying to rebuy our free fairy. Let's not do this. The lesson being put into play, like, this is why you don't need every single customer. This is why I only work for myself and the good people that I choose to work for. It's nice. Double Trouble, Mithral and Benjamin, those two together, absolutely hilarious. I love the moment when they're cheering because she leaves, like that moment. Those two, fantastic. I love the way that they get on with each other. Mithral's just a character, I think, who could really just get on with most other people if he tried. But it was interesting to see that the man driving this woman was indeed our thief, showing us how bad she really can be. So if you're telling me I can't have it, I still don't understand that. I'm going to go and steal it instead. It's these people who just don't understand the word no, and I hate that. Something I heard quite a while back, I think it was somebody who owned their own business, was you don't need every single customer. There are some customers you are better off without having their custom. I think this is one of those moments. It puts that into play. You don't have to make everybody happy. It's not important. You need to make the right people happy. You don't need to sometimes cater for the bad people's needs. But outsmarting the thief was a fantastic little moment to see them all working together. And the fact that Anne just didn't want to take a chance. She figured the guy would be back. She figured that he was going to try and steal it again. So she took no chances and she took the finished piece right to the wedding. That would have allowed her to see that happy face. Her reward for all of her hard work is how people perceive your work and how they take it in. She knew that he would come back, and it's great to see that teamwork moment, having them all try and catch the thief. Also interesting to see that Kat technically knew it wasn't her anyway. I had a feeling that he didn't believe it. He does try to apologize. I think in a way he kind of figured her, if she was a true artisan, getting a chance to learn and watch other people is a very important opportunity. The lesson at the end of the day is it doesn't matter how rich that person can be. Your art will always be cherished by the right people, and it's not always about the highest bidder, is what I gained from this. He makes art for people he knows who would love and cherish his art. It doesn't matter if they're rich, it doesn't matter if they're poor. Benjamin hiding the wing or re-putting it somewhere safe. Benjamin has seen Kat is a good person, and I also saw it in him as well. And he's decided, this person treats me well. I find them interesting to be around. I like seeing them work, and I've also seen a lot of people. I know this person's good, therefore I don't want to run away. I could if I wanted to. If I really wanted to, I could, but I don't need it. The fact Kat keeps forgetting even where it is and doesn't really seem bothered by it shows you that he doesn't see him as a slave. He doesn't see him as just somebody he can boss around. It's almost like having a wing is just, they've gotten used to doing, like, I loan this, and he's just gone, I don't care, I don't need it. All I care about is my art. He's absent-minded about everything but his artwork, because his artwork is most key to him. Another moment to show you that Kat is a really good person. I like this. All of this time, the person she was looking for was right in front of her face. Work he created anyway, that it was top-notch, reminiscent of her work, but a lot more refined. There were a lot more tiny bits in it. The colour was gorgeous. Similarities with her work as well, because they both produce this really gorgeous blue. That could just be the blue that they're using. Hugh is in the town we're heading towards. So we are now going to a town called Westall. Call him Alf now. Alf and Hugh know each other. They have studied underneath each other. Something that I thought was very clever was the way that Alf worked. Alf definitely had the same view or same tutor as Hugh, if they studied under the same person, is if you are an artist, you are the most important person. You should be putting yourself above everybody. You shouldn't be mocking or imitating anybody. You can appreciate someone's work, but you can admire them, but as long as it doesn't affect your work, as long as it doesn't cloud your view, you are your own style. And this is what I got from it. I just thought it was very clever and a nice attention to detail that the anime had put that in there and showed that both Hugh and Alf had very similar views, which meant they shared a teacher. Somebody has taught them that at some point, and they've both remembered it in their own little ways. So we are now heading to Westall, and it looks like the world isn't really getting any brighter. It's just getting colder, and Anne isn't selling any work. How is Anne going to improve her fortunes? It's a great episode. I enjoyed it. It was basically a little bridging between the high-octane start to whatever is waiting us in the last half. Really enjoying the anime. I like the pacing. I'm liking the themes. I like the way that it looks. Can't wait to see where we go next week, how we're going to improve our fortunes. Maybe we're going to see Hugh again. That would be fun. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. I hope you had a nice chilled week, that you're going to have a nice chill weekend if you didn't, and you are taking self-care important. So if you're working yourself hard, take a break over the weekend. I'm working both days, so it's going to suck. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. I will see you guys again soon. Bye bye guys.